439th Convocation of McMaster University for the conferring of degrees is now in session.
Pleased to welcome all of you here today to McMaster's 439th Convocation. This is a very happy occasion for our honored graduates, surrounded by loving family and friends, to celebrate an important milestone in your lives, the completion of a degree or a diploma in a discipline of your choice. Now, it's my pleasant duty as a chancellor to confer degrees of convocations, and I want you to know how delighted I am always to have this honor and to be able to share this wonderful day of celebration with you all.
Howard Engel is one of Canada's most celebrated crime writers. He's a leader in his profession, a man with a remarkable personal story of courage. He is also a McMaster alumnus, having graduated from our university in 1955. After teaching briefly, he joined the CBC as a writer and reporter, becoming an executive producer in 1967, and working on programs like The Arts in Review, Sunday Supplement, Anthology, and Focus Canada. He also penned the radio script A Child's Christmas in Scarborough, and later Hangman's Hands, The Wrong Man, and Ambrose Small. We know Mr. Engel best, however, for his Benny Cooperman mystery novels. This series, which now spans more than a quarter century, helped establish the artistic and commercial viability of Canadian crime fiction. Beginning with Suicide Murders in 1980, the Cooperman series includes titles like The Ransom Game, Getting Away with Murder, and Murder Sees the Light. The most recent volume, released just 2 years ago, is The Memory Book. Benny Cooperman is not Howard Engel's only literary creation, however. In 1992, Mr. Engel published the Paris-set mystery Murder in Montparnasse. He also authored the witty social history Lord High Executioner, an unashamed look at hangmen, headsmen, and their kind. Mr. Engel has been a key figure in elevating Canadian crime writing, not just through his own fiction, but through his leadership. With Eric Wright, he edited Criminal Shorts, Mysteries by Canadian Crime Writers in 1992. He was one of the co-founders of Crime Writers Canada and served as that organization's chairman in 1986-87. He is a member of the Writers Guild of Canada and the Mystery Writers of America. He was also a member of the founding executive committee for the International Association of Crime Writers. Mr. Engel received the Arthur Ellis Award for Crime Fiction in 1984 and won the Harbourfront Festival Prize in 1990. With Eric Wright, he won the Derek Murdoch Award from the Crime Writers of America in 1998. He was also the Barker Fairley Distinguished Visitor in Canadian Culture at the University of Toronto for 2 years. In 1994, he received an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from Brock University. For all of these accomplishments, perhaps most remarkable is one of Mr. Engel's most recent and most personal. After waking up one morning to find that an overnight stroke had robbed him of the ability to read, Mr. Engel began the process of relearning that most precious of skills. He will discuss that experience in the upcoming memoir, The Man Who Forgot How to Read, with a foreword by Oliver Sacks. Howard Engel is a Canadian original. He has helped raise the profile of his art form through the force of his own creative talents, as well as through his dedication to his profession and his fellow writers. Mr. Chancellor, it is my distinct privilege to present to you that you may confer upon him the degree Doctor of Letters honoris causa, Howard Engel.
It gives me great pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Letters honoris causa in McMaster University, all the rights and privileges pertaining to that degree. Congratulations, sir.
Mr. Chancellor, and other dignitaries, and all the new graduates, and graduates, I should say, who are here today. I'm a writer, and I've written a speech, but unfortunately, I'm unable to read it because in 2001, I suffered a stroke, which left my knees and joints and mind pretty well intact, but robbed me of my ability to read, which was a bit of an inconvenience. The doctor, I felt a bit like, when the doctor told me that I could still write, I felt a bit like the man who was told by his physician that the right leg had to come off right away, but he could keep the shoe and the sock. Writing is just what I do. I don't make many bones about it. But reading is the sun and the moon. Reading is Chaucer and Milton and Wordsworth and Hemingway and Joyce, and one could go on and on and on. The wonderful company, the people who kept me thinking ever since I left university. The work I did at McMaster was really just the beginning of the kind of things, because once you get into it, you can't stop. Reading begets reading, and it sets you up for the rest of your life. What I was planning to say, what I've written in these pages, is a bit as a three-part talk, with a bit of a rant in it. You'll forgive the rant part. I'll come to that. But first of all, it gives me a wonderful secret delight to be standing here in front of this learned body against representatives of the intellectual best of this country and perhaps of the world. And here I stand, an illiterate, before you. So that gives me a bit of a jolt. I found that my time at McMaster was well spent. I enjoyed the fellowship of the people I met particularly at the Board of Publications. People who are still numbered among my friends. My mother used to say we were the class that refused to graduate, because we stuck so closely together and saw one another so frequently. But I think that perhaps when I say that McMaster was my university, I should really say that it was my second university, because there was a university before, and I have to say that it was CBC Radio. I spent some years at CBC Radio, but long before I ever thought of working there, CBC Radio introduced me to Shakespeare. It introduced me to writing across the world. It was, in those days, the CBC was a university. I mean, quite apart from the role CBC played along with the railways, has bound this country together from one coast to the other, and more recently the third coast being included. My time at the CBC came at what people are calling the Golden Age. People whose names now are being forgotten, but were very important in those days. People like Max Ferguson, Rawhide, and Andrew Allen, and Len Peterson. And now we have such wonderful people as, well, the late Peter Zlosky and other broadcasters of note who add to our daily lives with their information. Now we come to the rant part of my talk. I think that the CBC can do better. Where have all the flowers gone? It used to be that we could hear symphonic music. The CBC supported symphony orchestras. It supported an acting community from one part of the country to the right across this country. And they're all gone now. And I think it's a shame, and I think we can do better in the grant. I want to congratulate all of the graduates here this morning and congratulate their parents. And I hope that when they turn on, when I look down at the faces, I can't imagine that they're the sort of people who turn off the slow movements of symphonic works. I think the CBC is quite wrong when they have decided to eliminate some things, to pre-chew everything, to pre-test everything before it's let loose on the airways. That's a coda to the rant. Now, it only remains for you to thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Engel. What a great example you set for all these young people out here, with the grit and determination and the hardships that you've had to overcome, and you've done them in a tremendous fashion. So on behalf of all of us here today, thank you very much for addressing this convocation.